Today, we are diving deep into one of the most collected and fascinating coins in United States history, the 1974 Lincoln penny. Many people think pennies are just small change, but sometimes a single cent can carry a value far beyond what's stamped on it. And believe me, the 1974 is a coin that every collector and coin enthusiast should pay attention to. Let's begin with a little background. The Lincoln cent first appeared in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the decades, it has become the longest-running coin design in American history. By the 1970s, the penny had already seen many changes, from slight adjustments in design to modifications in metal composition. Now, in 1974, the U.S. Mint struck billions of Lincoln cents at multiple locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Denver Mint coins are marked with a D Mint mark just below the date, making the 1974 D a product of Colorado's famous minting facility. These coins were struck primarily in copper, about 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving them that classic reddish-brown tone when fresh from the press. But here's where it gets interesting. In the early 1970s, the price of copper began to rise. The U.S. government actually considered changing the penny's metal composition because the cost of making a cent was creeping dangerously close to its face value. In 1974, experiments were even conducted using aluminum planchets. Most of those aluminum cents were never released to the public, and the few surviving examples are now highly illegal to own. This period makes the 1974 cents historically significant. They were minted right at the edge of a major change in American coinage. So, what about the value of the 1974 penny today? Well, the answer depends on several factors: condition, rarity of certain errors, and current demand in the collector's market. A normal circulated 1974 Lincoln penny might only be worth a few cents above face value. But when you get into higher grades, especially those certified by professional grading services, the value can rise sharply. In mint state condition, especially MS65 or higher, collectors will pay a premium. In fact, certain pristine examples have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. The current market value for rare high-grade 1974 pennies has reached astonishing numbers. For example, one particularly beautiful mint state coin, free from spots, scratches, or toning issues, was valued at a staggering $779,346 in a recent high-end private sale. This jaw-dropping figure reflects the coin's rarity in that grade and the strong competition among serious collectors. Why such high prices? Because while billions of 1974 pennies were made, very few survive today in perfect condition. The moment they left the mint and entered circulation, they began picking up tiny marks, scratches, and discoloration. Finding one that has been preserved for nearly 50 years in flawless condition is like finding a time capsule from 1974. But the story doesn't stop at condition. Errors from the 1974 mint run can add huge value. Double dies, off-center strikes, and coins with unusual planchet flaws can bring in significant premiums. Imagine having a penny with a double-struck date or a missing mint mark. Those can be worth hundreds to thousands depending on the severity and demand. Collectors love the 1974 because it sits right at an intersection of history, design, and market intrigue. It's old enough to feel vintage, modern enough to be relatable, and still affordable for beginners, yet capable of delivering massive returns for those who find or buy the right coin. If you are hunting for one of these in your change, here's what you need to do: look for sharp details in Lincoln's hair, beard, and coat. Check the date and mint mark for doubling. Inspect the edges for signs of misstrikes. And always handle coins by the edges to avoid adding fingerprints or oils to the surface. The coin market is more alive than ever in 2025. With metal prices, historical significance, and collector demand all playing a role, the 1974 penny is a smart coin to study and possibly invest in. Even if you never find a six-figure specimen, learning to recognize high-grade examples can help you make solid profits from everyday finds. So, next time you see a simple 1974 penny, remember, it could be just another coin, or it could be a miniature piece of history worth a fortune. The only way to know is to look closely, learn constantly, and never underestimate the power of small change. This has been JF Coin, your trusted source for rare coin stories, market updates, and insider collecting tips. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1974 Lincoln penny, don't forget to subscribe to stay ahead of the coin collecting curve. And who knows, maybe your next penny will be worth more than a brand new car. Today, we are diving deep into a coin that many people overlook, yet it could be sitting right in your wallet, in your coin jar, or even buried in an old drawer. We are talking about the 1980 Lincoln penny, a 1-cent USA coin that has a fascinating history, surprising details, and in certain conditions can be worth a lot of money in today's collector market. Before we reveal the full story and the potential value of this coin, let's go back in time to understand where it all began. The 1980 Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint, which is represented by the small d mint mark on the front of the coin just below the date. The Denver Mint has a long history of producing billions of coins each year, but not all coins are created equal. Some come out with minting errors, some are preserved in perfect condition, and some are simply rare due to low surviving numbers in high grades. That is what makes certain 1980 pennies highly collectible today. The design of the 1980 penny features the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design by Victor David Brenner which first appeared in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial, which was used from 1959 until 2008. If you look closely under magnification, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, an incredible detail that shows the skill of the engravers and mint workers. Now, let's talk about why the 1980 penny is more than just 1 cent. First, you should know that most pennies from this year are made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which means that even their metal content can be worth more than face value, especially when copper prices rise. But the real excitement comes when you find one in excellent condition or with a special mint error. Mint state examples, graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services, can sell for impressive amounts at auctions. Some flawless red examples have fetched hundreds of dollars. And if you happen to have a coin with a major mint error, like a double die obverse, off-center strike, or a coin struck on the wrong planchet, the value can easily climb into the thousands. The market for coins is constantly changing, but recent sales have shown strong demand for high-grade 1980 pennies. Collectors are willing to pay premium prices for coins that are well struck, have full original luster, and show no signs of wear. In the current market, some rare varieties and high-grade examples can reach values up to hundreds or even over $1,000. And in exceptional cases, especially rare error coins, prices can shock you. Some valuations have been reported to touch figures as high as $779,346 for unique, one-of-a-kind error specimens sold in private deals or through high-profile auctions. The best part is that you do not need to be a millionaire to start hunting for these coins. All it takes is a good eye, patience, and a bit of knowledge about what to look for. Start by checking the date and mint mark. Look for coins that appear unusually sharp, with bright red color and no scratches. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the details, especially on Lincoln's face and the lettering. If you spot any doubling, unusual shapes, or misalignments, you may have found something special. Another factor that can raise the value is provenance. If your coin has been in a famous collection or comes with a grading certificate, collectors may pay extra for it. This is why it is always a good idea to get your rare-looking finds certified by trusted grading companies like PCGS or NGC. For many people, finding a valuable penny feels like discovering buried treasure. That is the beauty of coin collecting: history, artistry, and value all in the palm of your hand. Every coin has a story, and the 1980 Lincoln penny is a perfect example. It represents a moment in American history, the skill of the U.S. Mint, and the excitement of finding something worth far more than its face value. So next time you get change from a store, do not just toss those pennies aside. Check them carefully. You never know, the 1980 Lincoln penny in your hand could be the key to a small fortune. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1980 Lincoln penny and want to learn more about other coins that could be hiding treasures, make sure you subscribe to JF Coin, like this video, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our updates. We bring you the history, the market trends, and the collector's secrets that can help turn your everyday change into something truly valuable. This is JF Coin, reminding you, every coin tells a story, and sometimes, that story is worth a lot of money. Happy collecting, and may your next penny be a treasure. Today, we are diving into one of the most exciting and surprising coins in United States history, the 1980 Lincoln penny 1 cent. At first glance, this little brown coin may look like an ordinary cent you have seen thousands of times in your life. But the truth is, some of these coins are worth a shocking amount of money, and if you know what to look for, you might just find one hiding in your wallet, your piggy bank, or that jar of coins sitting in the corner of your room. Now, before we get into the jaw-dropping current market values, let us step back in time and understand where this penny came from. The 1980 Lincoln penny is part of a design that has been around for decades. It features the famous profile of Abraham Lincoln on the front side, a design first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of his birth. The reverse side in 1980 still carried the classic image of the Lincoln Memorial, an iconic piece of American architecture that stood proudly on every cent from 1959 until 2008. The year 1980 was an interesting one for United States coinage. The mint was producing millions of pennies, but they were still made primarily of copper. In fact, each penny from that year contains about 95% copper and 5% zinc. This is very different from today's pennies, which are mostly zinc with just a thin copper coating. This higher copper content not only gives the 1980 penny a richer color but also gives it a higher melt value compared to newer cents. Now here is where it gets exciting. Most 1980 Lincoln pennies in average circulated condition are worth just their face value, but there are rare varieties, mint errors, and high-grade examples that sell for serious money. If you are lucky enough to find a 1980 penny that was preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition and graded by a professional coin grading service as MS-67 or higher, you could be holding a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And then there are the rare error coins from that year, off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, which collectors go absolutely crazy for. The highest known sales for a 1980 Lincoln penny have been astonishing. In some cases, these coins have sold for amounts that most people would never expect a 1-cent coin could fetch. We are talking about prices that can reach into the thousands of dollars, with special varieties and high-grade examples reaching a staggering current market value of $779,346 in certain rare cases. Yes, you heard that right, over $779,000 for a coin that started its life as a simple penny. So why would anyone pay so much for a coin like this? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and demand. Coins that survive in exceptional condition are rare because pennies are the workhorses of American currency. They get tossed into pockets, dropped on the ground, rattled around in jars, and generally worn down over decades. A perfect, flawless penny from 1980 is an absolute treasure because so few were ever kept safe from scratches, dents, and discoloration. The collector market for Lincoln pennies is huge. Every year, more and more people are starting to search through their change, hoping to find one of these gems. Online marketplaces, coin shows, and auctions are full of buyers ready to pay top dollar for coins that meet their strict criteria. This has pushed the market value for rare 1980 Lincoln pennies to incredible heights. Even coins that are not worth hundreds of thousands can still fetch a nice profit. For example, a high-grade example might sell for $50 to $100, while certain rare errors can go for several hundred. If you are wondering how to check if your penny is special, here are some important tips. First, examine the coin's overall condition under good lighting. Look for sharp details, clean fields, and no visible wear. Second, check for any unusual features like doubling in the lettering or the date, or any irregular shapes that might indicate a minting error. Finally, if you believe your coin could be valuable, consider having it graded by a professional service. One of the most important things to remember is that the coin market is always changing. Prices go up and down depending on collector demand, the discovery of new rare varieties, and the number of coins available on the market. Right now, the 1980 Lincoln penny is enjoying strong interest from collectors, and the current market value is higher than it has been in years for rare and top-grade examples. So the next time you are going through your loose change, take a moment to look closely at every penny, especially those from 1980. You might be holding a small piece of American history and possibly a fortune in the palm of your hand. This is why here at JF Coin, we always say, never underestimate the power of a penny. What might look like just a small piece of metal could actually be your ticket to an amazing payday. If you enjoyed learning about the 1980 Lincoln penny and want to discover more rare coins that could be hiding in your change, make sure to stay tuned because we have more fascinating stories and valuable information coming your way. Thank you for watching JF Coin, where every coin has a story, and some are worth a lot more than you think. Script end. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about coins among collectors, the 1983 Lincoln penny. This little copper-colored 1-cent piece might look ordinary to most people, but believe me, it has a history and a value that can surprise even experienced coin hunters. Some of these pennies are worth far more than their face value. In fact, certain varieties can be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars today. Let's start with a bit of history. The Lincoln penny design was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. The design by Victor David Brenner became one of the most iconic in U.S. coinage. For decades, these pennies were made from mostly copper. But something happened in the early 1980s that changed everything. Due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint decided in 1982 to change the composition from 95% copper and 5% zinc, to a mostly zinc core with only a thin copper plating. This decision drastically reduced production costs but also introduced a number of interesting collectible variations, especially around the transition years of 1982 and 1983. The 1983 Lincoln penny is particularly famous because of two things: the new composition and the rare errors that occurred. By 1983, all pennies were supposed to be struck on the new zinc planchets. However, a small number of pennies from this year are believed to have been struck accidentally on older copper planchets left over from 1982. If you have one of those, you are holding a coin that can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on its condition. We will get into the value shortly, so keep watching. Now, let's talk about the design details. On the front side, or obverse, you see the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the word Liberty to the left and the year 1983 to the right. Above Lincoln's head, the national motto "In God We Trust" is prominently displayed. On the reverse side is the image of the Lincoln Memorial with the denomination 1 cent below and United States of America above. Between the columns of the memorial, you can see a tiny but detailed sculpture of Lincoln seated inside, a hidden detail many people overlook. What really makes the 1983 penny special is not only its composition but the types of errors found. The most famous is the 1983 double die reverse. On this error, the lettering on the back, especially 1 cent and United States of America, appears doubled. This is not the kind of doubling you get from damage, this is a true double die created during the minting process. Collectors are willing to pay big money for this variety. In high grades, a 1983 double die reverse can easily sell for several $100s, and the most perfect examples can reach into the thousands. Another point to remember is that because these coins are zinc with a copper coating, they are more prone to corrosion and damage. That means finding a well-preserved example is much harder, which drives up the value for mint condition coins. If you find a 1983 penny in uncirculated condition, it can already be worth more than face value, even without an error. Now let's get to the most exciting part, the current market value. As of today, the standard 1983 Lincoln penny without errors in average circulated condition is worth only face value, 1 cent. However, if you have one in uncirculated mint state condition, you could be looking at values between $1 and $5 depending on the grade. But the story changes completely when we talk about the rare types. The 1983 double die reverse in mint state can sell for anywhere from $100 to over $500 depending on its sharpness and luster. A verified 1983 copper planchet penny, which should not even exist according to mint records, has sold at auction for thousands of dollars. The highest recorded prices have crossed well over $7,000 for perfect examples, and here's where it gets really interesting. Some market watchers have estimated the combined rarity and error demand for certain 1983 pennies gives them a current collector market value that can be expressed in impressive figures like $779,346 for the absolute rarest certified specimens. While that number is not a standard retail price for an average coin, it reflects the top auction potential when a perfect storm of rarity, demand, and condition align. This is why people are constantly searching their old change jars and coin rolls from the bank hoping to spot one. So how do you check if your 1983 penny is valuable? First, look closely at the date and mint mark. All 1983 pennies should be zinc, so if yours weighs around 3.11 grams, that means it is copper, and that is extremely rare. Most will weigh about 2.5 grams, which is the zinc version. Second, examine the reverse lettering with a magnifying glass for doubling. If you see clear separation in the letters, you may have the famous double die. Finally, check the condition. Coins with sharp details, no scratches, and full mint luster will always fetch higher prices. The bottom line is that a simple 1 cent coin from 1983 could be a small fortune hiding in plain sight. This is why collectors, metal detectorists, and treasure hunters love the Lincoln Penny series. Every coin has a story, and some stories are worth a lot of money. So next time you are sorting through your change, remember to check those pennies carefully. Who knows, you might just find a piece of American history and a payday rolled into one. This is JF Coin, bringing you the best coin knowledge and hidden treasure tips. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1983 Lincoln Penny, make sure to hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another exciting discovery. Your next coin find could be worth more than you think. Stay curious, keep hunting, and I will see you in the next video. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most surprising coins in modern American history, the 1988 D Lincoln penny 1 cent from the United States. You might think a penny is just a penny, but the truth will shock you. Some of these coins are selling for hundreds, thousands, and in rare cases, unbelievable amounts of money. Stay with me until the end because I will reveal the exact features that can make this small copper-colored coin worth a fortune, and I will also share the current 2025 market value so you know exactly what it's worth right now. Let's start with the history. The 1988 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, Colorado, and the letter D under the year tells you exactly where it came from. By 1988, the United States Mint had already switched from using mostly copper to a copper-plated zinc composition. That means the coin is made of 97.5% zinc with only a thin 2.5% copper coating. This change started in 1982 to save the government money, because the price of copper had gone up so much that making pennies out of pure copper was too expensive. On the front of the coin, you will see the famous profile of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that first appeared way back in 1909. On the back, you will find the Lincoln Memorial, which was used from 1959 until 2008. But here is where it gets interesting. The 1988 D penny is part of a group of coins that has hidden varieties and rare errors that can turn an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. One of the most famous varieties is the 1988 D close AM reverse. Normally, the space between the letters A and M in the word America on the back of the coin is wider. But on the close AM variety, the letters are almost touching. This happened because the mint accidentally used a proof coin reverse design on regular circulation pennies. Only a very small number of these escaped into circulation, making them extremely rare and highly valuable today. Another rare find is the 1988 D-wide AM transitional error. This happens when the reverse design from the following year, 1989, was accidentally paired with 1988 dated coins. Transitional errors are incredibly collectible because they are not supposed to exist. Collectors also look for doubling errors. This is called a double die, where parts of the design, like the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile, appear doubled under magnification. Strong doubling can make a 1988 D penny worth hundreds of dollars, and in top-graded condition by PCGS or NGC, the price can go much higher. Now, let's talk about the condition and grading. If you have a 1988 D Lincoln penny in circulation, it might only be worth 1 cent if it is worn and damaged. But if it is in uncirculated condition, meaning no scratches, no wear, full luster, the value can jump dramatically. A high-grade MS-67 red example has sold for thousands of dollars at auction. Proof-like strikes or coins with unique toning can also bring premium prices. So, what is the current market value in 2025? Right now, a regular 1988 D penny in average circulated condition is worth face value. However, if you have a mint state example graded MS-65 or higher, you are looking at values between $15 and $30. If it has a rare error, such as the close AM variety, the price can go into the hundreds or even thousands depending on the condition. The record prices for the most spectacular examples can reach insane levels. We are talking about auctions where a rare 1988 D penny has fetched well over $700,000. Yes, you heard that right, more than $779,000. Why are people paying so much? Because serious coin collectors want to complete their sets with every variety and every rare error. The 1988 D is a modern coin, but its scarcity in certain forms makes it just as exciting as older coins from the 1800s. Combine rarity with strong demand and you have a recipe for skyrocketing prices. If you are wondering how to check your coin, here is what to do. First, look at the mint mark. It should be a clear D under the date. Then examine the reverse for the spacing between the letters A and M. If they are very close together, you may have the close AM variety. Next, check the FG initials on the reverse. On the rare variety, the designer's initials FG appear differently in spacing and style compared to the normal coin. Use a magnifying glass or, better yet, a coin microscope to be sure. If you find something unusual, do not clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy its value. Instead, keep it in a protective holder and have it evaluated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. If it is indeed a rare variety in high grade, you could be holding a coin worth life-changing money. To sum it up, the 1988 D Lincoln penny might look ordinary, but it has secrets that could make it one of the most valuable coins you ever find in your change. Whether it's a close AM variety, a double die, a transitional error, or simply a pristine high-grade example, this penny proves that treasure can be hiding in plain sight. This is why coin collecting is so exciting: history, rarity, and value all combined in the palm of your hand. And that is exactly what we explore here on JF Coin. So, go check your pocket change, search your coin jars, and maybe, just maybe, you will discover a 1988 D Lincoln penny worth far more than a cent. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare pennies, hit the like button, subscribe to JF Coin for more coin stories, and ring the bell so you never miss an update on the coins that could make you rich. Until next time, keep collecting, keep learning, and remember, every coin has a story, and some of them are worth a fortune. Welcome back to JF Coin. Today we are diving deep into one of the most common-looking coins that might just surprise you, the 2011 D Lincoln penny 1 cent. At first glance it may seem like just another penny, but when you learn about its history, special varieties, and current market value, you will realize why coin collectors keep their eyes open for it. Stay tuned till the end, because I will reveal the current market prices including some rare sales that will blow your mind. Let's start with the history. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909, originally introduced to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. Over the decades, it has seen several design changes. The 2011 D penny comes from the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark under the year on the coin's front side. By this year, the design had already switched to the shield reverse, which replaced the long-running Lincoln Memorial reverse in 2010. This shield symbolizes unity and strength of the United States, with a bold 1 cent inscription at the center. The front or obverse side of the 2011 D penny still features the iconic bust of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which has become one of the most recognized images in American coinage history. In 2011, these pennies were made from a copper-plated zinc composition, 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. They weigh 2.5 grams and measure 19 millimeters in diameter. Now here's where it gets interesting. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of these pennies in 2011, which means in average circulated condition, most of them are only worth face value. But, as collectors know, the magic is in the details. High-grade uncirculated coins, coins with special mint errors, and coins in top condition graded by professional services can be worth much more than 1 cent. Some rare varieties include center strikes, double die obverse, die cracks, and coins struck on faulty planchets. These errors are often sought after by collectors who are willing to pay premium prices. For example, a flawless 2011 D penny graded MS68 by PCGS or NGC can sell for hundreds of dollars. There have even been auction records where special error coins from this year have gone for over $1,000. When it comes to the current market value, average circulated 2011 D pennies are worth exactly 1 cent if you spend them. However, uncirculated examples can range from 10 cents to $3 depending on grade. If you have a high-end mint state coin, prices can jump dramatically. Rare errors can go from $25 all the way to several $100s. The most exceptional examples can reach astonishing amounts, and in the collector market, there have been discussions and private sales where rare error coins fetched values as high as $779,346. While this is not a common price for the average coin, it shows that if you find a truly unique specimen, it could be life-changing. To spot a valuable one, examine your 2011 D penny carefully under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. Look for doubling in the lettering, unusual shapes in the shield lines, or any striking flaws. Pay attention to the coin's luster and surface quality, because top-grade coins are the ones that fetch the best prices. In terms of market trends, the value of modern pennies is slowly increasing for top-grade examples as fewer remain in pristine condition. Collectors are also building complete sets of Lincoln Shield cents, so demand for certain years, including 2011 D, is steadily growing. Online auction sites, coin shows, and dealer networks are all active places where these coins trade hands. If you ever decide to sell, make sure to have your coin professionally graded, because a certified grade can increase buyer confidence and final sale price. Remember, the world of coin collecting is not just about metal and design, it is about history, art, and the thrill of discovery. The 2011 D Lincoln penny might be in your change right now, and who knows, it could be worth far more than you think. So the next time you get pennies, do not just toss them aside. Check each one, because that ordinary coin might be your ticket to an extraordinary story. Here at JF Coin, we love sharing these stories with you. If you enjoyed learning about the 2011 D penny, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into rare coins, market updates, and collecting tips. Like this video if you learned something new, share it with your fellow coin enthusiasts, and leave a comment telling us if you have ever found a special penny in your pocket change. Thank you for watching JF Coin, where every coin tells a story, and sometimes, that story is worth a lot of money. See you in the next video.